Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something that feels like it's shifted from, a background hum to a really loud alarm bell.
Definitely. We're talking about screen addiction, digital overload, specifically hitting our teens and tweens.
Yeah, and our mission today is to really unpack what's going on. We've looked at a lot of sources.
We have. And the goal is to pull out the most compelling stories,
Mm-hmm.
the real insights.
Because it's clear this isn't just a minor issue anymore. One report nailed it, saying screen overuse among tweens and teens is a growing global concern.
And growing feels like an understatement sometimes. The impacts we're seeing, they're pretty dramatic.
So let me dig in. Where do we even start? Maybe with the parents, because the level of concern there seems, well, huge.
It really is. That's a key
Yeah.
driver here. One source put it bluntly. Overuse of social media and devices top parent concerns, especially around back-to-school time, but really it's constant.
And it's not just a small fraction, is it?
No, not at all. We found figures suggesting something like 2/3 of parents. They rank social media overuse right up there as a major worry.
2/3. Wow. That's a huge consensus. It feels like parents are seeing more than just, typical teenage phone use.
Exactly. They're seeing patterns, behaviors that look, frankly, like addiction.
And it's not just parents feeling this way, right? Even teens themselves.
Right. Over half, something like 56% of people, and that includes a lot of teens, they feel addicted to their phones. They use that word.
They recognize it themselves.
Yeah. And adding weight to this, you have the World Health Organization. They've actually classified gaming disorder now. It's in the ICD-11. It's a recognized medical condition.
Okay, so it's gone from parental worry to self-awareness to official medical recognition. That's quite a progression.
It is. And it signals how serious these dependencies are becoming. It's not just about the time spent either. It's the impact.
Let's talk about that impact. The mental health side seems particularly alarming based on what we read.
It's deeply concerning. Experts are drawing direct lines now. They're using really strong language like connecting compulsive social media use and online bullying to profound mental illness.
Profound mental illness. That's heavy. That's not just feeling down.
No, it's pointing towards significant psychological distress. We're seeing study after study linking heavy social media use with higher rates of depression and anxiety in adolescents.
And it goes beyond depression and anxiety too, doesn't it? Things like self-esteem.
Absolutely. Lower self-esteem is a big one. The constant comparison culture online, it takes a toll. And ironically, more connection online can sometimes lead to more feelings of loneliness.
It seems counterintuitive, but yeah, I can see that.
But here's a really important point. There's also evidence showing that cutting back actually helps. When teens intentionally limit their social media, their mental health often gets a noticeable boost.
So there's a direct lever there. It's not irreversible.
Exactly. Which is hopeful.
Okay, so the mental toll is clear. But what about their physical well-being? That came up too.
Oh, definitely. There are clear links. Excessive screen time is correlated with getting less sleep, for starters.
Right.
And that affects everything else.
Right.
Plus, there's a higher risk of obesity. But one thing that really stood out was digital eye strain.
Ah, yes, I remember that.
Experts are calling it a new childhood epidemic,
Yeah.
affecting maybe 50, even 60% of kids.
An epidemic of eye strain from screens. That really puts it in perspective.
It does, and the sleep issue is complex. It's the blue light, yes, interfering with the melatonin,
The sleep hormone.
right? But it's also just the content keeping their brains wired late at night. Think about it. 88% use devices before bed, and 60% they sleep with their phones.
Wow. Constant access.
Exactly. And then you have the more mundane stuff like headaches, poor posture from hunching over devices. It all adds up.
So eyes, sleep, weight, posture. It's quite a physical list. What
Yeah.
about learning? Academics, focus.
Big impact there, too. Research consistently suggests too much screen time can actually impair learning abilities. It hinders academic performance.
How so?
Is
Is it
it-
just distraction?
Distraction is a huge part of it. Constant notifications, the infinite scroll. It trains the brain away from sustained focus. Deep work, studying, reading becomes much harder.
Like they're being rewired for short bursts of attention.
Sort of, yeah. And it makes concentrating in class or on homework really challenging.
And I imagine this spills over into social skills too, if so much interaction is happening through a screen.
That's a major concern. You miss out on learning crucial stuff, body language, tone of voice, navigating real-time conversations.
Mm-hmm.
One survey found 42% of people agree smartphones make it harder to learn those skills. We're seeing more withdrawal from face-to-face stuff, less interest in, real-world activities.
It's like they're losing practice in basic human connection. And the online world itself, it has its dangers. Cyberbullying came up a lot.
Tragically, yes.
Yeah.
The numbers are stark. Almost half of teens, 46%, say they've experienced cyberbullying.
Nearly half. That's awful.
It is. And it explains why internet safety is such a huge worry for parents. About 67% listed as a top concern in some polls. The online space can feel pretty unsafe.
Understandably. So with all these issues, mental, physical, academic, social, safety, it's no wonder parents are desperate for solutions.
Absolutely. And that desperation is fueling a massive market. Parental control software, it's projected to hit almost $4 billion, $3.9 billion by 2030.
Billion with a B.
Okay.
Okay, that's serious investment. What kind of things are people buying?
It's a whole ecosystem. You've got the obvious stuff, apps for monitoring screen time, filtering content, tracking location.
Standard controls.
Right. But also things like habit-breaking apps, trying to build self-control,
Mhm.
and even low-tech stuff is popular physical phone lock boxes with timers.
Really? Like a little safe for your phone.
Exactly. Then there are blue light blocking glasses, screen filters. Some parents are even opting for basic dumb phones, just calls and text.
Going back to basics.
Yeah. Wi-Fi routers with built-in controls are a thing too. And for more extreme cases, you have digital detox camps.
Like Reset Summer Camp.
That's one, yeah. And even inpatient therapy programs, which can be incredibly expensive, like $14,500 or more.
Wow, that's a huge cost.
It shows the level of crisis some families feel they're in. Plus workshops, educational toys as alternatives, reward systems. It's a broad market.
What's driving parents to spend this money, this effort? What are they hoping for, fundamentally?
Well, protecting mental health is huge. Fear of depression, anxiety. Then concerns about grades, future prospects. Physical health worries sleep, activity levels.
Trying to get their kids healthier.
Right. And just wanting more family harmony, less fighting about devices. Online safety is up there too, of course.
Makes sense.
Ultimately, I think parents want their kids to develop self-control, to re-engage with life off-screen, find other interests, and just be okay.
It's about navigating this digital world healthily. And you mentioned this isn't monolithic, right? Different parents face different versions of this.
Definitely. Think about parents of tweens, maybe 10, 11 years old.
Mhm.
Their focus is often on setting boundaries early, trying to prevent problems down the line.
Establishing habits.
Exactly. Then you might have parents of a teen who's deep into gaming. Their battle might feel more like tackling a specific addiction.
A different intensity.
Right. Or parents whose teens are obsessed with social media. Their worries might center more on self-esteem, cyberbullying, mental health impacts.
And what about the teens themselves?
Good point.
Yeah.
We shouldn't forget them. There's a group of teens who know their usage is problematic. They're actually looking for ways to find more balance themselves.
Self-motivated teens, that's encouraging.
It is. So yeah, different groups, different challenges.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. From the scale of the problem to the deep impacts and the search for solutions. If we had to boil it down, what are the absolute key takeaways?
I think the main thing is, this is serious. Screen addiction, digital overload, they're having real, measurable negative effects on young people's health, learning, social lives, safety. It's not trivial.
And the parental concern, the booming market for solutions that just underscores the urgency.
Absolutely. It's a major challenge of our time.
It really is, and it leaves me thinking, with all this evidence, all these impacts we've uncovered, what's the single most important thing a family or even an individual teen could actually do today? Like, first step.
That's the big question, isn't it? Maybe it starts with just talking about it
Yeah.
openly, putting the devices down and having a real conversation about boundaries, about the why behind them, maybe setting some goals together.
A conscious conversation, not just rules, but understanding.
Yeah. And it makes you wonder, longer term, as these kids grow up immersed in this, what does it mean for our basic understanding of well-being, of development? Are we going to need fundamental shifts?
That's a profound thought to end on. What shifts are required? It's definitely a critical conversation and one we need to keep having. Thanks for digging into this with me.
Absolutely. Important stuff.